r/AskReddit. What is the craziest encounter of rich kid syndrome that you have experienced? I knew someone who goes out of the country just to have a haircut. Once had a blockmate craving for Japanese food. He went to Japan for dinner. Used MacBook as an umbrella on a rainy day. Bought another blockmate a watch same as his because blockmate number 2 kept complimenting his watch. A lot more. It's crazy for someone who can't even afford a phone. A Saudi guy in the UK got in a crash, with light damage to one side of brand new Mercedes. He called for one of his assistants to come get him, even though the car was fully drivable. My friend rolled up on call with his tow truck and asked the guy where he wanted the Mercedes towed. The guy gave him the keys and said, "Keep it, I don't want it." There was this rich kid in our class who was literally disgusted by us buying used stuff like computer parts on eBay. Once during conversation I said I bought an eBay memory module for my PC and said to me that I should have a little dignity, and if I buy used stuff I should keep it to myself. I know a garbage man that works in rich neighborhoods, and takes out trash around move out time for the uber rich kid university. Every year, he finds 200 to 300 game consoles, the newest ones, and sometimes desktop PCs. The kids don't want to take them home, they just throw them all out. He makes a good around 40k a year on eBay. He just cleans stuff up and sells it. Nice supplementary income. At my uni some Saudi kid left an Audi in the parking lot when he went back home. Got towed, impounded, and when called he said he didn't give a crap, so it got sold at auction to recoup all the impound fees. The Saudi's Audi. Girl at work told me she hated her dad. I asked why. She said he keeps asking for money since she used his credit card for a Euro trip and left him an 80 grand bill from last year. First day as a librarian in a private school. Help a 7-year-old with the printer. He offers to tip me. My friend is a commercial pilot and works for a large company that has a flight department consisting of several jets and turboprop airplanes. The owner's kids, and a group of their friends, were granted permission to take one of the jets from the central part of the US to the Bahamas. Upon arriving in the Bahamas they were meeting other friends and getting on a very, very large yacht for a week. They realized the yacht was equipped with fine dining food, not the type of food they liked, junk food. They ordered the pilots to fly back through US customs into their hometown in the Midwest. Once there they had to pick up multiple sides of BBQ ribs, burgers, hot dogs, soda, beer and piles of other junk food and fly back to the Bahamas. And do so within a time frame that still allowed them to leave with the yacht on time. It costs roughly $5,000 an hour to operate the jet they were using. And it never even struck the owners as something extreme. Twins in high school. Birthday, I think it was 17. They get matching pickup trucks. Like the souped up larger than life cool as cluck looking black ones. Twin A is the brat, and smashes his in some remarkable time frame. I want to say same day. It was crazy though. Parents decide not to get him another one, though I'm sure insurance probably covered it even if it was his fault. But regardless he is going to learn a lesson. The lesson? Take Twin B's truck, he's the responsible one, and crash it on purpose. If he can't have one, neither can his brother. So much recklessness, spite, and downright illegal in what he did. Humble rich kid. I was at a club at my college town and my roommate's new friend who drove a Raptor was at the bar. I started shooting crap and we were getting along, so I offered to buy a Y-bomb, vodka Red Bull shot. Being as wealthy as he is, he said, "You don't have to do that, man, save your money. Round will be on me." I explained to him it didn't bother, I was having a good time, and insisted I buy the shot. Immediately after that, he pulls out a black Amex and purchases the nicest VIP booth in the club, around 3k. Then ask what drink packages they have and ask if he could buy 2 bottles on top of max package. Looks at me and goes tit for tat. Safe to say I don't recall much after that. I went to college with a guy who totaled 5 Mustangs in a year. I don't think he was sober enough to remember any of them. At least he doesn't give up. My personal favorite was in college. Kid down the hall from me bought a brand new Fender Stratocaster and played with it for a day and got bored and sold it to me, case and all, for $20. I still have it and play it 15 years later. It's a great guitar. When I was in college, a friend that was heavy in the frat life told me about a freshman that got kicked out for having a servant flown to town to do the hazing chores he was supposed to do. Don't talk to him. He'll think he's people. One time a college dorm mate next door was stressing his dad hadn't yet given him money for the month, and $1,000 wasn't going to last him for the week. Meanwhile, I'm having to donate plasma to afford my next meal. Life just be like that. Bruh, I try to live off less than $1,000 a month. One of my flatmates in uni was a Chinese girl who asked us all if our washing was being done. She just threw all her clothes and towels outside her own door and was expecting them all to magically get cleaned. That was an eye-opener. Teacher here. 2 spring to mind. 1. My first teaching job was at a private middle school in one of the wealthiest enclaves in the United States. I taught a kid who told me he didn't finish his homework because his helicopter had stalled over the weekend, so he couldn't leave his family's island. He was telling the truth. Same kid was also a huge pain in the butt who wanted to misbehave with the cool kids, and then would lie through his teeth while crying when held accountable. His parents knew he was a jerk and cared enough to bring me a case of wine from their vineyard as a gift every parent-teacher conference or before the holidays, but they didn't care enough to discipline their kid. 2. I now teach at a private school in Europe, and I'm absolutely gobsmacked by how many parents are happy to pay $35,000 per year to dump their kids into boarding so they can do cluck all as students and repeat grades 1, 2 or 3 times because they don't make any effort whatsoever. A 14-year-old in full volume cursing meltdown. Where the cluck is he? Because the pilot of the private helicopter that had brought him there had gone off to get a cup of coffee. The kid was done skiing for the day and found it totally unacceptable that he had to wait 10 minutes before he got flown home. I was that poor kid who ended up getting a scholarship to a ridiculous private school. The one thing that stood out massively for me was probably how much people cared about what everyone else's parents did. Like your parents' achievements counted for yourself. My daddy just brought a new plane. Yes, a literal statement. So what does your dad do? When I replied cluck, all they laughed and thought I was being cool about it. There's a lot of rich kids in my particular business program in university. I met this one girl a few months ago at a social. We were chatting a bit about our program and she proudly told me about how she threatens to sue the school whenever things don't go her way. She also said something to the effect of, they have to take the threat seriously because they know I actually have the means to follow through, haha. A girl in my school was surprised by her parents in the school's parking lot with a new BMW. A freaking BMW. Everyone who is out is basically watching this go down and she starts crying. At first we are all thinking it's because she's so happy, but then she runs back into the school. Apparently they were supposed to show up earlier. I'm assuming when there would be more students to witness the surprise. I felt bad for the dad because he looked totally embarrassed and sad about it. You know, in his head he's like, I created this monster. Ex-girlfriend's friend said to me, can you believe there are people who have never been on a private jet? Yeah, I'm one of them. My college roommate's mom gave him clucking $1,400 for the weekend just randomly. He blew through the whole thing by Saturday, asked his mom for more money and was screaming at her because she promised $1,400 for the weekend and he spent most of what she gave him on Friday, which isn't a part of the weekend. Kids trying to straight up bribe bouncers and even police officers. This is less surprising when you realize they were international students from rich families where bribes are common/expected. Thankfully, they'd learn really quick to not do that. I work in a jail. I always love when someone gets arrested and comes and screaming, do you know WHO my dad, mom, grandpa, uncle is? Held by your entire clucking jail. It's even better when their dad, mom, grandpa, uncle refuses to come bond them out. Funny short story. My ex-wife used to drive a 1998 Honda Accord. She treated it like crap, and so one day I got into it to drive somewhere and I noticed that it was falling apart. I had 2 options, junkyard or sell it, and so I put it on Craigslist for $250. I thought it could go to a low-income family that had someone with some know-how who could semi-restore it, but when I meet the buyer he was not who I expected. He pulled up in a brand new Escalade and told me that his son was spoiled. His son had crashed a BMW, Mercedes, and an Audi, and so he was done buying him nice cars. Turns out, this guy purchased my car as a way of torturing his son. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel for more edit videos like this. Don't forget to smash that like button and stay crispy, guys.